All right, folks, this is my high school friend. We are going to get into some fun stories here, but we're also going to get into the fact that everything is IP. Even the high school we went to, Nate did some fantastic branding for them, but he also works at Omnivore. And so we're going to learn about that, food and beverage, and how even that can be IP. So, Nate Siebert, welcome.
Hey.
Hey. So, listen, man, who would have thought we'd be here 30 years ago?
Well, I thought so, but
Nice.
no, I knew you were on a trajectory. So
Well, crazy stuff, man. But listen, proud of you. I got a call recently about Heritage, and I have good memories of Heritage, and I'm going to show everybody that's a fantastic school that we went to many years ago. But you actually are very passionate about this school still.
yeah.
And you help them with some of their branding. So I want people to realize, like, even the school they go to is intellectual property. And what did you do for Heritage in terms of design or branding or anything?
Yeah. So Heritage, truly the identity, the whole brand architecture system hadn't really changed since you and I had been there.
Wow.
It had been quite some time.
Yeah.
I won't say how many years, but but it had been kind of like just kind of left alone.
Yeah.
And a handful of years ago, they had brought on a director of development, and she really felt passionate about, the face that our school is putting on.
Yep.
And said, you know what, we're not who we are as a school, who we are as a community is not reflected in what we're presenting. And it had just seemed outdated. It wasn't, it wasn't reflecting who we are.
Yeah.
And so she and I really worked hard at exploring, how do we bring who we are to the forefront,
Oh, that's good.
both in how we look and how we talk, the voice. And we realized there wasn't really a voice, or there wasn't really a space for us to completely reinvent Heritage. And so we actually, or we didn't completely redo, but we evolved the brand. So
I love it.
So we really took the H that is the current logo, is really just an evolution of what had been there previously. So very intentional, look more scholarly, more academic, cleaned up from where it had been, and then bring that to life throughout. Building a whole brand, all the fonts, all the colors, everything. And so that, you can really see that come to life. Even there on there, you can see the signage.
Oh yeah.
It was everything from the signage to inside the gym, like designing a whole new gym floor.
Wow. It's fantastic.
Everything on the website. I mean, kind of everywhere you look, there was something that we updated and refreshed.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I can tell a lot of things about it. So first of all, the mascot, is it still the Patriots?
It is, and even that evolved.
Okay. Oh, really? Where would I see that under it?
Yeah, I think you should be able to find it. Click there on athletics.
Ah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's updated a little more. It's a little more modern.
Yeah.
But it's still the
That's cool.
The essence of it's still there.
Well, and listen, this matters because we're looking. Oh yeah, I see the gym. That's pretty slick. Okay. So people might be like, oh, all that stuff, branding, who cares? But I'll tell you what, it does matter a lot. In fact, it avoids copycats. It protects the legacy. I look there, it said, I think founded in 1973 or something like that. But yeah, that is the danger and blessing of a rebrand. Recently, was it Jaguar a few months ago that rebranded, and there was an outcry of people who basically said, what are we doing? This is not part of the brand. This is not part of the tradition. You had people saying, look, I was going to buy a Jaguar. Now I'm not. Other people said, I want to sell my Jaguar. So, I mean, you really have this huge burden and weight of branding something that is still honoring the past, but paving a way for the future. Is that kind of the weight that you felt?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's what you see of the brand has to be like it's not just about makeup and dressing. It has to really communicate who you are and what you're doing and who are we speaking to. Is it just internal families? Is it teachers? Is it potential teachers? Is it potential students?
So like, who is the stakeholder?
Yeah.
I like that. So and look, folks, you might think, wow, they're really going over the top, but I'll tell you what, we call it school pride. I mean, check this out, Nate. I heard that if the Chiefs would have won the third Super Bowl, check this out, just the royalties on the phrase three-peat would have been $120 million.
That's wild.
Like, I'm not even talking the apparel. I'm talking about the phrase three-peat. A link to the brand would have been 120 million. So it matters, and you want people to be happy. You want them to, represent the brand, but you have the crazy burden of track, soccer, volleyball. I mean, whatever sports they have, down to drama. I mean, here we have, I'm looking at other pages here, but we have all kinds of jerseys and sweatshirts. What are we? I mean, look at this here. You got the Patriots. You got to have that represented. You have middle school, high school. So this is crazy. And then you had to represent the school you attended too. So did you feel any pressure?
No, because I feel like it was time. And I think people recognize that it was time to make changes.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really feel pressure, but part of that is also that it was a cause that I'm passionate about, and I care about the school. I can speak, it wasn't also something that like I was tasked with.
Yeah.
Like it was, hey, there's my son.
Nice.
It wasn't something that like I didn't know what I was doing. It's something I've had experience doing, So jumping in and being empowered by the school and the director of development at the time, that was exciting to me. It's exciting to be bringing like how can we improve and make things better, especially when it's something you care about.
Well, look, I even see mine holes. I see some of the old names, and so that's cool, man. So basically, an organization decides to rebrand. How do they honor the past, build a vision for the future? And then you have this big event coming up, Attune. And what's the goal behind that as well? Because I know that's something that kind of reconnected us, and I'll be going there, and we want to give a shout out to that because there's still tickets available. So let's talk about Attune. And you wouldn't know the website off the top of your head, would you?
Sorry, I don't remember it because it's like
I think I got it. I got it. So I'm going to find it. I'm going to bring it up.
You can get it. Also, you can navigate there from the Heritage website as well.
Oh yeah, I got it. You see it?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So let's talk about this Attune, and there's items, and what's the goal that Aaron has behind this?
So the goal is really, there are several goals. Part of it is to celebrate like where we are as a school, some of the impacts that we're making, some of the investments and changes that have been happening over the last year. It's to do that amongst our community, but also as we have attendees that are not necessarily current families, whether it's past families or prospective families or just connections to our school, that they would hear what's going on and kind of get excited about everything that's been going on at the school. And then also, it is a big fundraising event, to help us propel forward. There's been so many great improvements over the last few years, but this is a small private school, and there's always more to do. And that's whether that's a private small school or anywhere. There's always more to do. So this is an opportunity to both celebrate and put us on a path towards further growth.
I love it. So let's talk now about food, beverage.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just had the Super Bowl, and I mean, people are spending millions of dollars on getting their brand, and some commercials were probably amazing and stuck, and others weren't. How important is, even in a commercial? Because I literally was sitting there. I was in Arizona with my son, and we were at a business conference, but we did watch some of the Super Bowl, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like some of these are actually hurting their brand because they're so bad. Like a commercial is so bad, and then others got brand equity, or growth, you'd say, from it. But what makes your work with these food and beverages? I mean, I'm looking here. This is amazing. Some of the stuff you've done. How do you do the branding?
It's so much of what we do is try to make sure our clients understand that we are an extension of their business, not just a vendor, a transactional vendor. We really want to be a partner and understand who they are and what they're doing, and really bring that into develop a strong relationship. And so that's really the foundation of where we go. And then from there, it's understanding, okay, what are their needs? Where are they in the marketplace? Are there gaps where they're maybe not, and that we can help them with, or are they humming along and they need support with specifically digital marketing or a website or social or whatever it may be. And then we, sometimes it's branding, sometimes we're doing the brand strategy, content strategy, like a lot of strategic work. And sometimes it's more, okay, we're launching this product, and we help them decide, okay, here's where we think you should do this, or here's how we should launch this to market, within their existing brand architecture.
Well, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I want to eat this. So you literally worked with this company.
Yeah. Ghirardelli's been a client for a number of years.
Wow.
And actually that photo was actually shot. We have an in-house studio at the agency, and so we do all sorts of photo and video work. We kind of build our own sets and can do all sorts of different things right in house, which is pretty amazing for a food industry. It also helps if they're looking to launch something, or they are if they just need new photography for a new campaign, we're able to go in and shoot stuff.
So let's take this for a moment, folks. This is IP. I can tell because they have the little registered trademark, buns to brag about. So that's obviously a little risque, but it shows the brand that it's a little bit fun and a little bit don't take them too seriously. But I mean, even that phrase, would you agree, is part of the IP, which is part of the brand?
Yeah, I mean that's part of that campaign. That's part of their voice there. And so these are what you're seeing there are digital examples. So those would be placements that would be going on all different websites all over the place. So if you're if you're in the industry and you're on one website, you may see it. If you hop over to another website, you'll see another one, and those will get served up to at various places, and hopefully you'll see that consistent tone and voice and look. And it starts to click, and hopefully you're remembering, like, oh yeah, Ace, like they're the buns that I want to brag about.
Yeah, that's cool. That is actually really cool. So intellectual property, what would you say to somebody who's listening to this, who's thinking, whoa, organization, school, beverage, food, maybe I should start thinking about my IP. What would you say are some good questions? Like when somebody sits down with you, are you asking them mood, tone, voice? What, like, are there certain things that you land on?
I mean, it's kind of all of that. It's really like, who are you and what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's, you know, whether that's a product, whether that's a brand, whether that's your company, your school, or even yourself. Those are good questions to ask, and those are what you're gonna like circle around. And if you're, I think it's important to actually ask yourself all those questions, and to define, you know, be more definitive. Pick things that you're really strong at or really good at, and build off those strengths.
But here's my guess. When you sit down with people, I bet you I know what's going to happen. And you say, who are you? Even though this company might exist for 5, 10 years, 20 even, I bet you a lot of these companies say, we're not really sure.
Yeah, I think there's some of that. I mean, generally, a lot of the companies we work with are pretty established legacy food brands, so they have pretty strong marketing teams. Now, if we're working with a startup who is just launching, sometimes they may have more questions or may like not know necessarily how to approach the market the way they're, you know, they may have a great idea but not a plan about what to do with that idea, or great products that they don't know where to go with it. So we will help them then like kind of define that and refine it, so that they can then have a very strong plan going forward.
But here's the thought. You and I grew up a long time ago. We know that back in the day, Radio Shack was a thing. And you see brands that got confused. Like I remember before Radio Shack went under, do you know what their slogan was? Like, this shows how bad they were, like toward the end.
I don't remember. I remember some crazy stuff happening, but
yeah. So toward the end, their IP was so bad that their phrase was, meet your friends at the shack. Like what? Like, what does that even mean? Like,
that means nothing.
So, okay. So meet your friends at the shack means I'm going to go there for batteries. You know, it doesn't make any sense. But whether it's that or whether it's Starbucks a few years ago, this is probably a decade ago, where they started wandering from their brand and they started to have CDs, music. They would have sandwiches that they were making that were like, people said that they'd walk in and instead of smelling coffee, they would smell singed cheese. You know, and I tell people all the time that clarity attracts, confusion repels. So when you see an established brand like Radio Shack or Starbucks or, you know, in your food place, if they do start going off or Jaguar, if they do start going off too far, is that a risk?
I would say yes. Now you do need to have the clarity, but you also need to be exploratory. I think you need to constantly be pushing yourself. Like, does this make sense? You need to be constantly exploring and evolving, you know? Starbucks, you know, when Starbucks originally started, one of their huge draws was that they became the third space, right? Yeah. And then they evolved because they realized, you know what, people want to be able to go. Like, so now you've seen how many Starbucks have closed and reopened with the drive-through, right? But now they're seeing another turn. I don't know, like they're also seeing, hey, now people aren't staying here. We need to draw people more we want people in store. So now they're offering free refills if you're staying in the store.
Really? Okay.
Free for coffee and tea. Yeah. Not necessarily like the
frappuccinos
and stuff, but if you sit and you stay, you can keep refilling that coffee, and that's their plan to keep people in store. Yeah, and that's kind of like, that's them continuing to evolve. I I do think that, like, yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, we're Starbucks, now we're a music shop.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's a disconnect. But
Right.
if you continually evolve to meet the needs of the consumer, because everyone changes. You and I have changed
Yeah.
over the years.
Oh yeah.
Everybody changes. So you need to keep exploring to see where the new options are and keep evolving to make
Oh,
sure
that's good.
customers.
Well, the IP has to have that continual story, but also shift. And I see good companies like, for example, AI. If a company's not saying, hey, let's at least consider, even if we're a legacy brand, Tiffany jewelry, whatever. They recently partnered with Nike to develop a whole new line that's reaching, I think it's a successful partnership from everything I've seen, but they're like drawing the Tiffany customer, Nike is, and they're getting a whole new crew. And then, Tiffany's is drawing Nike people in because of their color. So I do think we need to take risks, but yeah, you're right. It's got to be you can't bet the farm and lose everything. So, So Nate, we have about 60 seconds left. Where can people find out more about you and what you're doing? And this time went by really quick, but
yeah, right.
Yeah, but here's one of your websites, omnivoreagency.com.
Yep. Omnivoreagency.com is where all the food and beverage work is. You can also find me on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So
Perfect.
reach out. I love having conversations, talking about branding and design and just being creative in general. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, listen, I'm excited to see you in March. And thanks for all that you've done I'm going to pop up your LinkedIn here. But yeah, I love how you've reinvented yourself, but stayed true to things too. And I think that's really what the talk is about today, that exact talk. And here's Nate, and here's some of his things. And I love the branding here. So yeah, check out Nate, reach out. And he is a creative director. So thanks for being here, my friend.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
All right. We'll see you.
Thanks for having me. We'll see you soon.